Sigma INFJs have contradictory tendencies that impact every area of their lives, even if this contributes to their distinctiveness. They are stigmatized by society for exhibiting traits Sigma INFJ can scope, then. Here are 10 ways a Sigma INFJ handles contradictory habits elegantly. Number 10. They boost its beneficial effects. Being tranquil and highly functional at the same time is one of the contradictory traits of the INFJ Sigma personality type. They and other successful people have boundless energy to devote to the pursuit of their true passions. Consequently, as opposed to feeling lost and having an identity crisis, Sigma INFJs put a lot of effort into developing this counterintuitive trait. They provide their full attention and determination to the task at hand. Sigma INFJs are unique in that they excel at making things simple, enjoyable, and effortless. Actually, they are only exploiting their predicament and producing benefits as opposed to harms. Some people are enthusiastic and hyperactive to the point that they lose focus and jump from one task to another without stopping. INFJs, on the other hand, can channel this energy and use it to advance. Number 9. Despite their fears, they won't be frightened to upset the apple cart. People describe Sigma INFJs as beautifully disruptive. It's as a result of their inability to be content with the familiar. When they recognize a chance to advance, they'll take. If they are the last to maintain the status quo, they might do so to showcase their abilities. They are the ones who raise this question. If not me, then who? They don't hesitate to question accepted wisdom. However, it won't cause chaos only for the sake of innovation. If they ever question the conventions, they make sure they do it for the benefit of all. This explains why, despite opposing viewpoints, they are nonetheless polite and respectful to others. They are not interested in making people look bad merely to make them feel worse. However, this does not imply that they will do nothing and watch as others' viewpoints diverge. How do you determine when to speak up as a Sigma INFJ? Number 8. They accept accountability for how their relationships are impacted. Given how complex the INFJ personality type may be, they are forced to face things head-on and with the greatest resiliency. What does an INFJ's higher resilience mean? It is not about being impervious to all difficulties and unaffected by even life's fiercest storms. Instead, it's about helping them manage their own anxieties while exhibiting a better sense of responsibility in their interactions. It's not about keeping things clear-cut. It involves facing things head-on and responding to them while keeping emotional and mental equilibrium, while others use unhealthy coping strategies that make them slaves to their problems. Sigma INFJs will do whatever it takes to reduce the negative effects it has on their relationships and general quality of life. Number 7. They'll continue to think well of themselves. Sigma INFJs think that their self-perception and paradoxical habits are significantly influenced by their mental health. They wouldn't have the wherewithal to handle the criticism. If they didn't have adequate mental health, they might experience crisis cognitive dissonance and stigma that goes along with their complexity. If they weren't as confident and secure as they are, it would be similar. In the face of regular attacks from narrow-minded people, they would readily dissolve. Simply said, how they view and treat themselves as individuals has an impact on their mental health. Like other people, the Sigma INFJs place a high value on their mental health and well-being, because it enables them to maintain their confidence without constantly defending their contradictory behaviors. They don't have to continually defend their dilemma and polarity to others, which helps them stay grounded. Is it always that simple to keep a happy outlook on life as a Sigma INFJ despite your contradictory habits? Number 6. They'll just concentrate on raising their standard of living. Despite their contradictory habits, INFJs aim to become their best selves, which means improving their everyday routines and worldview. They realize that unless they remove the obstacles to expressing their ideal talents, attitudes, and behaviors, they won't be able to maintain their financial and emotional stability. And they must first deal with their internal problems in order to display such a soft quality. These internal struggles may have a significant effect on how people behave and view the world. When they are in good mental health, as people start to discover new interests, their quality of life might get better. Meet new people, visit new cities, and ultimately develop beyond their former selves. When it comes to raising their general quality of life and their own self, INFJs have no boundaries. The aim is to be better than they were. Number 5. People take responsibility for their habits. A Sigma INFJ never lies or places the blame for their contradictory behaviors on others. The mere fact that they find someone repulsive will never compel them to transfer their inner problems onto that person. Sigma INFJs, on the other hand, are eager to confront their anxieties, fears, and feelings of inferiority, perplexity, as well as any other problems they might not be aware of. To understand themselves better and lead more fulfilling lives, people aspire to be more self-aware, rather than rejecting and stifling their contradictions. They welcome them and seat them. INFJs are able to deal with these contradictory tendencies with ease and grace because of this. They cannot be made to do things they did not want to do by the world. They are what seems to be normal, after all. As a Sigma INFJ, do you also hold yourself responsible for your habits? Number 4. They won't even consider thinking negatively about themselves. INFJs mistrust their capabilities because of their paradoxical habits. They begin to doubt their capacity to handle the enormous world around them. People constantly ponder the reasons INFJs cut themselves apart from the outside world, while asserting their mental health. The reality is that people are not always lonely when they are alone. People who withdraw from you may not necessarily feel unhappy and hopeless. In fact, it aids in their return to sanity. In fact, it makes it harder for them to find inner calm and strength. INFJs are revitalized by aloneness. As a result of the extra time it provides individuals to reflect, sit with their emotions, and uncover their unconscious elements. This inner labor aids them in recovering from anything they could be oblivious to, including their paradoxical features. If people frequently engage in this behavior, they can stay away from chronic despair. Number 3. They will make an effort to keep control of their life. Sigma INFJs work hard to keep control of their life despite their contradictory tendencies. They realize that given their complex worldview, they cannot avoid forming these habits. In order to safeguard it and maintain focus, they must also be aware of what is genuinely important to them. Sometimes the reality can be too much to bear, especially when they have to make tough choices. On the other hand, INFJs recognize that you have no influence over anyone else's behavior, and that this is the nature of human existence. This is the reason they stay committed, step up their game, and go above and above to become accountable path navigators. How else, as a Sigma INFJ, can you maintain your groundedness in the face of your contradictory habits? Number 2. They never assess themselves in relation to others. By avoiding confrontation with others, Sigma INFJs can gracefully manage their contradictory habits. Making social comparisons can only damage their mental and emotional well-being. Comparing their habits to those of other individuals will only have negative effects, like encouraging their inner critic. But Sigma INFJs are wiser than that. By avoiding comparison with others, INFJs can preserve their principles and not feel guilty about their contradictory practices. They like marching at their own pace since they are conscious of their individuality. Their joy, inventiveness, and potential are diminished when they compare themselves to people they consider to be typical. In addition to that, it undermines their sense of authenticity and peace. In reality, internalizing the traits that characterize people rather than trying to imitate them is what makes one beautiful. If they consistently put someone else's opinions, lifestyle, tastes, and wants before their own, they will never be content. So the final choice is to shut comparisons and embrace their polarity. Number 1. They will work to become more conscious of themselves, taking pride in one's paradoxical behaviors. A process of inner self-evolution is on in the face of damaging social pressure that never stops. Some Sigma INFJs experience scorn, judgment, and mockery as youngsters, and the drive to fit in despite their uniqueness causes them to feel like an outcast. However, are the opposites actually worth the self-doubt and self-criticism? By striving to remain alert and loyal to themselves, Sigma INFJs are capable of overcoming their previous problems and confusions and progressing towards self-actualization. The best strategy for navigating the paradoxes of life has always been developing self-awareness. By questioning themselves, they can hone themselves into the kind of person they desire to be. What am I lacking? Who am I? What do I want? Or what do I want to achieve? Do you also ask yourself these questions if you're a Sigma INFJ? The odd tendencies of the Sigma INFJ are what made them the incredibly distinctive person they are. They concentrate on leveraging these paradoxes to their advantage regardless of what society thinks. How else do you manage your contradictory behaviors with grace? Do you ever feel guilty about having them?